An act of charity turns into tragedy.
Saw the guy, his flesh looked really badly burnt. It was just a horrible experience altogether.
We saw a big flash and guy fell down from the bucket.
4 firefighters shot just moments after helping out college students with the popular Ice Bucket Challenge as one of the men fights for his life.
We pray over those firefighters. We pray over those families. We pray over our CU students.
Students gather hoping their prayers will be heard. Tonight, team coverage from a close-knit campus to the hospital where the men are being treated. This special edition of Wave 3 News at 11 starts right now. Good evening. I'm Shannon Cogan.
And I'm Scott Reynolds. These 4 firefighters started out the day like any other, but in an instant, their lives would be changed. Our team coverage continues here tonight. Wave 3 News reporter Theo Keith live from University Hospital, where those firefighters are being treated.
But first, Wave 3 News reporter Scott Atkins is live in downtown Campbellsville tonight. And Scott, a moving vigil was held for these injured firefighters.
If you're just joining us, we do have these reports of shots fired, and now Katie Bauer able to confirm through Metro Police that at least 1 student has been shot there at Fern Creek High School.
As you see this aunt running right now to get her niece because her mother is coming as well. They're moving all the students all on the ball field. They're trying to empty the school totally, room by room, to make sure each child is safe.
Right now we're on Ferndale Road, and we just saw some SWAT team members enter a side door as they continue canvassing the interior of the school as well.
Are you waiting for someone?
Yes, my granddaughter.
Which school?
Fern Creek.
High school?
Yes.
Have you been able to get in touch with her at all?
No.
Okay. They said you are in the right place.
Oh, I
Stay
hope
here.
so.
Yes, you are in the right place. You see that almost everyone here has a phone, is on a phone, is texting, is talking. They want their children.
There was one shooter that apparently fled the scene immediately, left the premises.
We're hearing that the gunman, the person they are looking for, is indeed a student. Not sure at that school, but this person is 15 to 16 years old.
You hope it never happens, but sometimes it does, and this is one of those days here at Fern Creek. And we've got helicopters in the sky still as police are surrounding dozens and dozens of police vehicles still here on the scene.
And we understand that someone is now in custody for this shooting. And we want to go to Wave 3 News reporter Myra Ansari, who is in Newburgh and can bring us up to date on the latest on this search and I guess an arrest now as well.
An update to breaking news right now. Police have just apprehended the suspect that took 2 hostages earlier today and what they believe is a carjacking. Now, what you see now is a live picture. We have actually a moment ago, they took the suspect down. Now, this is when they apprehended them. We did not want to show it live because they have their guns drawn. We did not know what will happen. You see there, they actually jump on the suspect. They have apprehended him. Everything turned out well enough. They have him now in their custody. We did not want to show this live, but we were able to show it now because we know they have him in custody.
It's 10 minutes to 5 now. Let's go up to Air 3 and take a live look here. Just got the live shot in from the chopper of the fire we have been covering here for the past about 2 hours.
A state of emergency has been issued in the small town of Nifley in Adair County. We want to get right to Wave 3 News reporter Catherine Kington with the very latest. Catherine.
Yes, Lauren, well, we've just learned that this situation they're saying is under control, but we've still been told that flames are still happening right now. What happened was around 2:30 this morning, the gas line exploded. That gas line is from Columbia Gulf Transmissions. That exploded and ignited 3 houses, 2 barns, and 4 vehicles. We have learned also 2 people were injured. We originally told 1. It seems that 1 was transported to the hospital and 1 had minor injuries, but right now it is under control.
We've got live team coverage of this winter weather mess.
Let's start with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harnett. He is in Scottsburg, Indiana tonight. And Kevin, how was your drive there?
You know, I made the trek 30 miles north of Louisville just a few minutes ago. On the way, about a half dozen snowplows still working to keep the Interstate 65 clear.
The main thoroughfares here around Louisville are looking a lot better, but we're over in the Highlands. I want to show you what some of the side streets still look like right now. And here we are. We're going down around the Willow area. As you see, still snow covered and slick out there.
What you have is an illegal cockfighting industry that is centered in Kentucky. Kentucky's kind of the capital of it, and it's drawing in these people from these other states that are involved in that crime.
The Humane Society's Animal Cruelty Policy Director in February successfully lobbied lawmakers to make it a federal crime to attend a cockfight and a felony to bring a child to one.
This federal law that was expanded to cover the spectators at animal fights is the very same law that was used to prosecute Michael Vick. This is a popular law.
Not popular to a lot of people around here. On March 29th, activist cockfighters are called to the Corbin Arena for a meeting to legalize cockfighting. So I put on a legalized cockfighting shirt and go in undercover. The first speaker, American Game Fowl Defense Director Dave Devereaux, spends several minutes explaining why we're here.
Sole purpose of legalizing game cockfighting at the state level.
The next speaker, before more than 700 people, is Republican U.S. Senate candidate Matt Bevin.
There is not a cause, there is not an issue, there is nothing that we believe in that we could not bring to fruition if we turn out to vote.
When he's done, he is asked a direct question.
Vote to support the effort to legalize game cockfighting in the state of Kentucky. I support the people of Kentucky exercising their rights because it is our right to decide what it is that we want to do, and not the federal government. So criminalizing behavior that is part of the heritage of this state is, in my opinion, a bad idea. A bad idea, and I would not support it.
Bevin is followed by Standing State Representative Richard Henderson of Mount Sterling, who supports legalization of cockfighting in Kentucky and then makes a popular confession.
I bet on chicken. I bet on chicken. I got a real
Representative Henderson refused our request for an interview, saying, "The media misconstrues everything I say." We caught up with Bevin at a Louisville campaign stop. He says he didn't know it was a cockfighting rally.
I don't personally support cockfighting. I've never been to a cockfight in my life. If you were there, you can tell. I mean, it wasn't any, when I was speaking, were you there when I spoke?
I was there, yes, for the whole time.
Yeah, and so when I spoke, obviously I was there to talk about why I'm running for U.S. Senate, and that's the same thing I do everywhere that I speak around the state.
When Dave Devereaux got up before you, though, he said, "We're here for the sole purpose of talking about legalizing cockfighting in Kentucky." What were you thinking then when he said that?
I honestly wasn't even paying. I was thinking about what I was going to say. I don't even remember him saying that.
I read him back this comment.
Criminalizing behavior that is part of the heritage of this state is, in my opinion, a bad idea.
A bad idea. I would not support it. You stand behind that?
No, what I stand behind is people's ability to exercise their First Amendment rights, to speak about whatever they want to speak about.
It's 8:24 in the morning, and Trooper Mitch Harris is getting a late start to his workday, about 2.5 hours late. The logs show it was just before 6 a.m. when Harris, badge 371, clocked in by radioing in.
And 371 B98 from the
1098, police code for ready for assignment. His assignment is supposed to be here, patrolling the I-64 work zone near the new outlet mall in Shelby County. Overtime shifts that are paid for primarily by your tax dollars and typically requested by troopers who want extra cash. After a tip to the Wave 3 News troubleshooter department, we followed Trooper Harris for 3 consecutive shifts and saw him taking care of his business, but not police business, never actually patrolling the work zone, yet his pay stub shows he collected the OT money anyway. We told State Police spokesman Sergeant Michael Webb what we found.
Can you explain a trooper getting paid for shifts that they don't actually work?
I mean, people get paid for what they work.
On August 4th, 5th, and 8th, KSP logs showed Trooper Harris clocked in a few minutes before 6 a.m. Yet on all 3 of those days, our undercover camera didn't spot him coming out of his house until after 8. Hitting the road, but not hitting the interstate work zone he was collecting overtime to patrol. How do we know for sure? On all 3 of those days, we drove the work zone for hours and never saw Harris or his cruiser once. Where was he? We don't know. One day he parked his cruiser in a nearby neighborhood, then hopped in a fellow trooper's car. Not normal practice, but also not against regulation, although we didn't see that cruiser in the work zone either. On 2 other days, we were unable to follow Trooper Harris, but he might have been working regular duty. That's because his pay stub shows he was charging the department for normal hours in addition to the work zone OT. In all 3 instances, KSP told us there are no records Trooper Harris, a 12-year veteran of the force, wrote any citations. Turns out, that's not all that uncommon for him.
We pulled every one of these work zone activity log sheets Trooper Harris has to turn in to get OT, and found out you paid him to patrol the work zone 253 times since 2012. 14 times we found he didn't write a single ticket. And check this out, 8 and even a 10-hour shift where Trooper Harris didn't write as much as a warning. Have you ever worked an 8 or 10-hour shift and not written any citation, warning, any documentation?
I personally have not.
In all, Trooper Mitch Harris has collected $61,629 of work zone OT, more than a year's salary. We wanted to know what Trooper Harris had to say about all this, so we went back to his house one more time.
Trooper Harris? Eric Flack from Wave 3 News. I'd like to talk to you about showing up for work. Could you come talk to me, sir?
Kentucky State Police didn't want Trooper Harris to speak with us.
Trooper Harris?
An assignment he did follow, walking away from our cameras behind a wall of silence.
Have you been taking overtime money for shifts you haven't been working?
Ignoring questions he will soon have to answer to Internal Affairs. Kentucky State Police has now launched its own investigation.
Kentucky State Troopers have a reputation of serving the citizens of the Commonwealth of Kentucky in a very proud and efficient manner. And we will not allow that reputation to be infringed upon.
She's a great teacher. She loves kids.
Rebecca Pittman's 4th and 5th graders write about her.
She likes to write poems, and she has a skill for typing without looking at the keyboard.
They describe her big smile, her respect for them. As the cards pile up,
Miss Pittman was my favorite teacher.
We realize the students are speaking in past tense, writing to Miss Pittman's parents.
And know that we are with you and that she is in a better place.
Earlier this year, we were lucky to meet Rebecca Pittman. The stage 4 breast cancer survivor suffered a brain tumor, but was still inspiring her Atkinson students and colleagues.
Those kids are my family, and I want to be back with them.
In a wheelchair, weak from intense radiation, she still went to school.
She showed up to work every day with a smile on her face. She'd give you the shirt off of her back.
Pittman's never-give-up attitude was extremely important in her Atkinson classroom, where many students don't have many adult role models.
She would often work with our students who were in foster care or who were struggling behaviorally.
Pittman also mentored aspiring teachers through a program at the University of Louisville. Tuesday, the College of Education will honor Pittman's love of reading and writing by giving her students a complete collection for their library. Newbery Award-winning author Jacqueline Woodson, who writes about the type of courage Pittman possessed.
She was just such a central part of the heart and soul of that school, and she will live on in the practice and the lives and learning of those at Atkinson and of our partnership work.
Wave goodbye to comfort. Pose for pics from the proud paparazzi.
Water!
No takers. It's time to ingest Ohio River water.
Holy
More than 2,000 people swimming on top of each other for 2.5 miles. The pros line up, drafting and flying, but it's slow going for most. The only thing harder than flailing and floundering is finding loved ones in this fish-like frenzy.
2087!
So much training, trains can't keep up. Water, hula skirts, water.
Whack, you volunteer! Hey, bada. Oh, so close.
3,000 volunteers at every conceivable job.
We are holding the bikes whenever they have to go to the porta-john.
One of the challenges with the Ironman triathlon is boredom. When you're on the bike for 112 miles, that takes most of us 6 or 7 hours. So when you come upon a place like this in LaGrange, it is much appreciated. But most of the time, It's excruciatingly silent. Except for changing gears or cheers from crickets. Not long after bikes break down, bodies break down. By mid-afternoon, water is used to drink and douse.
Step away from this.
Step away, please. That's my husband.
Heat-related crashes crank up when the heat index hits 100.
It's great. I've only crashed twice and I'm not nearly done.
Woo! Off here, they'll take your bike at the bottom of the hill. I'll get the run. Get ready.
Starting a 26-mile marathon after 8 hours of swimming and biking.
There's no way. I'm melted down already. This is not going to be good.
With tan booth heat searing down, turns runners into walkers.
You have this.
And walkers into stumblers, who paid $650 for this. Even the winner, a 4-time Ironman Louisville champ from Australia, wilts down under the finish line. 227 of the people who started Ironman Louisville will not finish. That's more than 12%. The 1,800 who do cross the line suddenly value what's waiting for them differently. It's enough to make a grown man cry. John Bull, Wave 3 News.
It is our country's most popular and some believe most violent sport.
Hit him!
Are concussions and head injuries as big a concern for high school athletes as they are for college and pro athletes?
Oh, absolutely. I would say probably even more.
Dr. Tad Seifert, director of the Sports and Concussion Program at Norton Healthcare, says the type of helmets kids wear plays a role in their risk of concussion. That belief is rooted in years of research at Virginia Tech University that resulted in this 5-star helmet safety rating system. The higher the rating, the lower the concussion risk.
But the reality is the newer helmets have better energy absorbing materials and lower head acceleration, and that lowers risk. And the difference between a 1-star and the better 4 and 5 stars is dramatic. It can cut your head acceleration in half.
Dr. Stefan Duma believes any helmets that fall below his 3-star rating shouldn't be used anymore because they don't provide enough protection against concussions. That includes the 2-star rated Schutt Air Advantage and the 1-star rated Riddell VSR4. Now, a Wave 3 News troubleshooter analysis of helmet inventories from 8 area school districts reveals 4 of them still use one or both of those models. In JCPS, 26% of the helmets they own are rated 1 or 2 stars in the Virginia Tech system.
What this does is it shows that there is a conversation that definitely needs to be had, and it's going to be had.
But after we told JCPS what Dr. Seifert said, they decided to organize a meeting to sort it all out, since he's also an advisor to the district.
But we need to get with the athletic directors and get with our expert from Norton and get them together and talk about what the research shows, how they should move going forward, and what's best for kids.
Some school districts say the answer is clear. Floyd Central responded to our report by immediately taking all of its lower-rated helmets out of service. Bullet Central says their low-rated helmets will be phased out by the end of the year and replaced by 4- and 5-star helmets, adding, the study makes a compelling point, which we have taken into account.
Would you put your child in a 1 or 2-star helmet?
No, I would not.
You've seen the impacts of what can happen.
Yes. The Wagner players joined athletic directors and coaches from around the district as Norton Healthcare formally announced a $150,000 grant to Jefferson County Public Schools to combat and treat concussions. It's the culmination of months of discussion, according to JCPS Director of Athletics, Jerry Wyman. He said the talks started after a Wave 3 News troubleshooter investigation found 235 football helmets being used by JCPS teams scored low in Virginia Tech University's 5-star safety ratings system, measuring how well a helmet prevents concussions.
When Wave 3 and Eric Flack broke the story on the comparing our helmets to the Virginia Tech study, it did raise some awareness to us.
Lauren, it's the one we penciled in when the schedule came out, and as the season unfolded and a couple of unfortunate losses by one play, still, we had this game to look forward to. I don't know about you, but I was cheering for Florida State last week against Notre Dame because I wanted them to come in here undefeated, 23 games in a row. But, hey, everybody is still talking about that incident last night when Florida State rolled into town. Let's show you a little bit of video of that from Air 3. Florida State went right down there on the waterfront where everybody could see them and did a walkthrough. And then people started, of course, gathering around the public park and taking pictures, and the coaches got in everybody's face and said, you can't take pictures down here. And they said, it's a public park. And it went back and forth, and they went to the police, and the police said, they have the right to ask you not to take pictures, and you have the right to take pictures because it's a public park. So then Florida State left. After the practice, the team walked by Joe's Crab Shack, a move that's getting national attention because their quarterback, Jameis Winston, was caught stealing crab legs from a Florida grocery store.
Wave 3 News presents the Cardinals versus Fighting Irish.
I'm Kent Taylor with John Bull. We are live right outside of Notre Dame Stadium. And John, the Cards fans have plenty to celebrate.
All right, let's part the Red Sea here a little bit. How y'all doing tonight? All right, okay.
And it was going to go down to the wire. After a John Wallace missed field goal, Notre Dame with one more chance. They drive down the Cards, get a stop, force a field goal attempt. And you saw it a minute ago. Kyle Brinza misses the 32-yard field goal. Cards fans don't feel for him too much because they win it 31-28. U of L escapes their first ever trip to South Bend, Indiana with a win over Notre Dame. Let's listen in as Coach Petrino is talking with the media.
Energy. I think the defense did a great job early in the year, understanding it's a team game. We didn't have any separation when the offense couldn't move the ball.
And John, we've got some guests here.
Yeah, we do. Let's listen to the band. Good morning. We are coming up on 6 o'clock on your Thursday. Call this our last gasp of summer show. We are fanned out all over the place, including Kentucky Kingdom and Holiday World, because Holiday World has a huge announcement coming up today, a $22 million expansion. We're wondering what ride they're going to unveil. Let's get right out to Lauren this morning. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, John. I'm a little out of breath. This is the craziest thing I've ever done. First of all, in my life, but especially on live television. We are at the very top of the voyage. We just walked, more than 100 stairs up here. If you can Doug, are you okay to pan around a little bit? Look at this. We are so high up in the air here. As you mentioned, $22 million ride they will be unveiling, taking place in the Thanksgiving area here as well. This is just, absolutely breathtaking.
Wave 3 News coming to you live all day long, bringing you exclusive coverage of the 25th anniversary of Thunder over Louisville. Here we are. This is our set. We're on the Belvedere. Galt House behind us, Command Center at the top of that. It has just been a perfect day. We just saw the Blue Angels perform some magnificent maneuvers.
As you can imagine, our tag board here for Thunder over Louisville has been blowing up. People are just so impressed to see those jets thunder through the sky. Let's look at some of them. This one, Ben Stewart says, what a show by the Blue Angels, crazy. Here's one from Canada. There's the live stream right behind him on his television there.
It went off without a glitch. The skies were beautiful. The temperature was perfect.
All right, you see Pegasus Peggy.
Spell it!
Peggy's waiting in the background there as we're about to kick off the 58th annual Republic Bank Pegasus Parade. Coming up next.
Kentucky proud.
The silver anniversary of the Kentucky Derby Festival. Great bed races. And they're off. Geek Squad City in the inside lane. We have already seen quite a few cones eaten by one bed. We did have one crash into the wall.
Here it is, the Survivors Parade for the 6th year. It has taken place here before the Oaks. Let's go to Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harnett, who is down on the track.
It is a touching moment. You can't help but to hear the cheers from the crowd, feel the energy from the crowd. You've survived for the last 20 years.
That's right, 20 years, 20 wonderful years.
The 6th annual walk here with 140 survivors now because this is Oaks 140.
What's it feel like to be out here on the track of Churchill Downs with the crowd cheering and supporting you?
Well, it feels crazy. It feels awesome.
Morning breaks in the bluegrass. Excitement fills the air on this first Saturday in May. It's the day when a thoroughbred racing legend will be born. The first and finest jewel in the Triple Crown. The greatest 2 minutes in sports. Dreams will come true. And a champion will be wrapped in roses.
And it was Orb today.
Only on your official Derby station, Wave 3 News.
It's hard to count out California Chrome. I think if the horse gets a good break, then he can do it, but that's what it's going to depend on.
Speed has stuck so far here today through the first 2 races.
They're off. It's Masochistic leading by a length.
And here's a look at it that we're seeing for the first time as well. You can see they were in very close quarters, and it is a chain reaction. Medical personnel attending to both the horses as well as the humans there.
Yeah, that's right, Lauren. You know, when you saw it, when people at home saw it here in the interactive zone, when we saw it, your heart just sunk. It was heartbreaking to see that. We've already gotten some tweets on social media, some Facebook posts. We want to show them and share them with you right now. Connie Leonard posted just a few minutes ago that all 3 horses are okay after race 3. Jockeys, 1 okay, 1 with a concussion, 1 with a lower back injury. And here, U of L girl, my thoughts and prayers to the jockeys.
Maybe 165,000 people packed in for the running of Derby 140.
Well, Wave 3 this year has brought you more hours of coverage for Oaks and Derby than we ever have before. And how do we do it? Well, with a very talented team. Kevin Harnett is going to take us behind the scenes right now to tell us more. Hi, Kevin.
Hey there, Shannon Scott. You know, you are 2 on the first turn. We have crews all over Churchill Downs and literally a mobile studio at Churchill Downs. We're inside of that now. It's literally a tractor trailer, and you can see the dozens of employees just in the one room we have here from Wave Television who are directing our coverage.
Good morning, Gordon. You were walking about 5 feet away live this morning from California Chrome. He's coming over to the track for a little morning jog on what could be a very historic day here, going for the Triple Crown. 12 times we've come to Belmont since '78, hoping for this. 12 times we've been disappointed. Okay, I want to try something here. Hey, Willie, how you feeling today? All right. Does he feel any differently to you today?
Not really.
No? What are you going to try to accomplish today? I mean this morning. This morning, what are you going to try to do?
Just keep relaxed, really.
Okay, keep relaxed. He just said keep relaxed if you couldn't hear. All right, if you're just waking up, check this out. We're about 5 feet away from California Chrome, waiting to cross the road here and to enter the track. We're about 20 yards shy of the track. That's Willie Delgado, his regular exercise rider.
And welcome to this special edition of Wave 3 News at 5. We're coming to you live tonight from the Kentucky State Fair. I'm Shannon Kogan.
And I'm Scott Reynolds. We thank the crowd that's gathered behind us, and we're going to bring you all the sights and sounds of the fair over the next 90 minutes. You'd be forgiven if you thought the U.S. Senate candidates were in a race to show who likes guns the most and who agrees with President Obama the least.
I'm not Barack Obama. I disagree with him on guns, coal, and the EPA.
Allison Grimes' claim needs clarification. Before we get to why, here's McConnell firing back.
Allison Grimes thinks shooting a gun will convince you she's not like Barack Obama.
McConnell says Grimes is closer to the president's views than she lets on.
But Grimes twice supported Obama's platform for Obamacare, for the war on coal, for Obama's foreign policy, and, ironically, for gun control.
This is not the whole story. It's true that Grimes did endorse Obama and the Democrats' platform in 2012, but McConnell's ad doesn't tell you what the platform included.
Give me money and to get some eat.
So convincing, he cashes in on compassion.
Why that camera for?
So bold, he got caught in his fake act outside a Lexington police press conference about him.
I appreciate you guys busting me.
You appreciate this?
Yeah, I'm really good at it, really good. I clear about $100,000 a year doing this.
He told reporters then that he used to be a millionaire, receiving $2.5 million in 1993 after being injured in a motorcycle crash. But he's not mentally handicapped.
My bead boy. I'm just playing. I got to go, y'all. I got to make some money.
Gary Thompson has been jailed and chased all over Kentucky, last seen in Cincinnati.
Whenever I ask you for money, I won't act mental.
Guess where I spotted him now? Downtown Louisville, aggressively panhandling at store entrances like McDonald's and Thornton's, or waving down people on Broadway. Here he is clowning around, not wheelchair bound, on the Wave 3 station property. He changes clothes often to fit the situation. He has help some of the time by people who wheel him into position. One day, I record his group buying and selling small white pills or rocks, then walk to the nearest overpass to disappear up out of sight. While I've been following him, he starts following me when he sees a guy in a tie.
Please help, but spare my wheelchair today and all my coins. Somebody takes it.
You fell out of your wheelchair today?
Yeah, mine need to get but spare, get back home.
He doesn't know I'm recording him yet.
What's wrong with you?
Mine was hit by a truck when 9-year-old, but I no hurt that bad, just a little bit. Left side hit me preset.
What is your name?
My name's Gary Davis.
Gary Davis?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So what are you asking for?
Money for
money?
Spare.
Money?
When I pause and pull out a more obvious camera, things change.
You're really Gary Thompson.
No.
Yeah. My name is John Bull with Wave. Been watching you. You're the guy. You're the bogus beggar guy that makes $100,000 a year, right?
No.
Yeah, you are. You got a degree in speech pathology?
No.
And you're able to change your voice? I've seen all the stories on you.
That's a lie.
That's a lie? No. I noticed your speech got a little bit better just now.
Not a lie.
That's a lie?
I don't want to be on camera. I never asked him nothing. I'm going to Churchill Downs.
Gary, I know what your deal is now. Let's just be real here, okay?
I'm not doing no deal. Leave me off camera. I don't want to be on it.
Okay. So you haven't been caught yet here in Louisville?
I don't want to be on camera. I'm not doing nothing wrong.
Is it true that you burned through $2.5 million in a motorcycle crash lawsuit?
Not burn. Don't want to be on camera. I break it. I will break it.
You can't. I thought you couldn't get out of your.
I can walk a little bit.
I know you can walk. I got video of you walking. I know.
A little bit.
Gary, don't you feel bad doing this, faking it like this when there are real people out here?
I'm not faking nothing.
A wink and a smile from him after I turn off both cameras. That confrontation and his panhandling all went on right in front of a police officer. Then Gary moved on to his next act.
You're about to watch the moment life came crashing down for 24 people in New Albany. Here's how 8-year-old Ainsley Wilt described what happened in a homemade iPhone video moments later.
Then when everybody is sitting down and Bernie's about to take the picture, it
just went down.
The Wave 3 News troubleshooter department obtained security camera footage of the deck collapse from victims who are now suing the deck builder and the homeowners association that ran the clubhouse where it happened.
Some people called this a freak accident. You know, a meteorite hitting your house would be a freak accident. This was going to fall one day.
That day turned out to be December 22nd, 2013, a Christmas party hosted by Lisa Wilt for her extended family. As everyone gathered for a group picture, smiles turned to screams.
It just gave way.
That's Lisa's dad, Jerry, slamming into a support beam on his way to the cement 15 feet below.
We was in shock. I mean, I said, how could this happen?
He was one of a number of family members taken to hospitals. Lisa's husband, Jeremy, a nurse, was at work when the deck collapsed and joined the team of emergency responders. He says the worst injured were standing along the railing.
The people in the back all fell straight down and the deck fell away from them. So they did not get the benefit of landing on the deck first, or the benefit of landing on somebody behind them.
The family says 3 of those people still aren't walking. Others were more fortunate. Look at this 13-month-old baby who escaped unhurt thanks to her dad, who clutched her in his arms as they fell. And watch this man catch a sliding deck bench with one arm to keep it from crushing people below. A spokesman with Schuler Homes, the company that built the deck, told me the law shields them from liability because the deck is more than 10 years old. calls to the president of the Wolf Lake Homeowners Association, the other group named in the lawsuit because it's responsible for maintaining the deck, have not been returned. Jeremy is now spearheading a grassroots public awareness campaign using the images of what happened to his family in a YouTube video about deck safety.
Pay attention to the front center of the beam as it gives away first.
Teaching people the warning signs of a collapse. Red flags the family claims went unnoticed here.
I'm just surprised no one died and stuff. Let's make a cereal drink.
It's a night that begins with their favorite fried foods at the Cardinal Cafe. These 4-year-old twin tornadoes, Zeke Sullivan and brother Alex, have no idea what's in store for them.
Look! Hey, are you all okay if we ride in this? Yeah. Is that cool?
The dynamic duo is getting the ride of their young lives, and the limo is well deserved.
Yeah. There we go. Cards up.
They've been through a lot. Zeke has been battling brain cancer, but as twins stick together, brother has been right by his side. A lot for Mom Kelly to take in.
They did the MRI, and he's like, yep, you definitely have a tumor. It was the size of a large lemon.
After surgery and 33 radiation treatments, the tumor is down to the size of a nickel, and the boys are feeling good and excited to see cardinal birds.
You guys see any birds up here?
Gotcha! Gotcha!
These VIP ball boys have front row seats, they've got their cardinal shirts, and then another big surprise. Both boys got a piece of the NCAA championship floor.
Like, would this one be okay? This is from when U of L won the championship.
And he loves to hold on to stuff, so I know he'll cherish it for a long time.
For the moment, the 4-year-old seemed just as excited about the Dean's Flying Milk Jug.
Don't go up too high. Go back down.
And then, here come the cards. After the high fives, none other than Coach Rick Pitino grabs the boys' hands for a picture to remember.
Good. One more time right here, boy.
They're right on the floor, and Zeke has his cleanup duty down. What does he think?
Awesome!
Yes, crunch time. I've been doing this for about 5 years, and I have my own little bell. Merry Christmas, thank you. The Salvation Army is all about giving and helping people.
Merry Christmas!
Most of what you donate goes right back into helping people. When the dog is here, my donations are up immensely.
You need to learn how to ring the bell.
She knows how. Show her how. Brandy, come here.
How to ring the bell.
Show her how you ring the bell, Brandy.
What a wonderful idea. Congratulations.
Oh, sure. Her name is Brandy.
Merry Christmas to you. I saw you ringing the bell. I did.
She's a very good people draw, and all the kids have to come and see her.
Dad said we gotta give a little money just because she rang that bell.
Oh, she loves visiting with all the people. She's very friendly. Very friendly. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
She's sweet.
She's all like you all over.
You stick it in there. Here.
What a fine job you do.
Now we're chewing on it. When we have a lot of shifts and we're doing a lot of ringing. See how chewed up it is? Oh. Ring the bell.
I think she's great.
Pretty dog.
And I love that they do this. This is really wonderful.
You don't like this. We're going to put it on you.
Truly the Christmas spirit.
Good girl. Good girl, Brandy girl.
It's great. I love that people are so creative when they try to raise money for such a good cause.
She says thank you and Merry Christmas.
A school in Jefferson County becomes the scene of a shooting. Gunfire ringing out in a hallway.
Going on, I just heard a big boom. I got scared for myself.
A teen rushed to the hospital, shot allegedly by one of his own classmates.
They was having an argument before dude let out a gun. We didn't know he had a gun on him.
Students evacuated. The image is all too familiar. Parents rushed to a local park. Their worst nightmare now a reality.
Scared. You know, not being able to do anything.
Tonight, how it happened from an eyewitness, the arrest of the gunman in a neighborhood, the parents who want change, and the community that is badly shaken. Wave 3 News at 11 starts right now. Good evening, I'm Shannon Cogan. It is a terrifying first for Jefferson County Public Schools. A shooting on campus. This afternoon, police say a 16-year-old gunman walked into Fern Creek Traditional High School on Bardstown Road and shot a 15-year-old student in a third-floor hallway. The victim rushed to the hospital. His injuries are not life-threatening. The suspect arrested by U.S. Marshals and LMPD's Viper unit 3 hours later. 1,400 students evacuated onto the school's baseball field while parents nervously waited to pick them up at a nearby park. Wave 3 News anchor Scott Reynolds was covering the story for us all afternoon from Fern Creek High School. He is there live tonight, and what a terrifying afternoon for all involved, Scott.
Especially those students, Shannon, because when the call for a lockdown came, they were between classes. They were in those hallways, in the stairwells, and then the call for a lockdown, and it could have been chaos and pandemonium. Amazingly, none of the students were hurt as they're trying to rush into a classroom to get in a secure location. But as they did that, and then they knew the suspect wasn't in the building, they moved those hundreds and hundreds of students to a nearby area here to the school, Fern Creek Park. But little did all those students know as they waited for their parents to pick them up that the suspect would be apprehended just a little more than a stone's throw away from where they were waiting. Theo Keith was there at this apartment complex this afternoon.
Well, Scott, police and U.S. Marshals fanned out, and then they focused in on an apartment unit that's not at all far from where we are right now. That suspect is in custody. He faces several charges new tonight.
U.S. Marshals and the Metro Police Viper Squad load their suspect into this black SUV. The arrest happened inside the park at Hurstbourne Apartments, just 1 mile from Fern Creek High School.
Next thing you know, the kid pulls out a gun and he fires the gun.
Hours before, witnesses saw the shooter arguing with another student on the third floor of the school. Then, says Fern Creek freshman Samuel Fraser, he fired.
And as soon as I heard the gunshot, I basically knew what it was, so I didn't have any intent on really looking at him. I just wanted to get out of there.
While police evacuated hundreds of students with hands on their heads, the shooter ran. Police tracked him through this neighborhood close by. You can see the officers holding guns about to search these woods. Tips brought them to this apartment building.
And the next thing I know, they had the canines and marshals probably 10 deep.
Phyllis Kavanaugh lives across the hall from where the suspect hid out and across from where a search that made national news came to an end.
What does it feel like to be across the hall from where the shooter was arrested?
It's scary. It's sad.
Neighbors who saw the arrest say the suspect came out peacefully. But what provoked the shooting? At the suspect's Newburgh home, no one would open the door. What? Meanwhile, students were questioning how to stop this from happening again.
Anybody can bring in a gun. All you have to do is put it in your bag. We don't ever really get checked.
Police have charged the 16-year-old, who they're not naming, with first-degree assault, wanton endangerment, possession of a weapon on school property, tampering with evidence, and carrying a concealed weapon. He's locked up downtown in youth detention, Scott.
And a lot more to be learned about him.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Why this happened and how long he had that gun and if he'd brought it in before.
No doubt.
All right, thanks, Theo. And this is a day unlike any other in JCPS school history. The first time, JCPS tells me, that someone's been shot inside of a school. Now, at first, some of the students thought it maybe was just a drill, but they soon realized a crime had happened in their hallway.
The chaos began at 1 p.m. in a hallway on the third floor of Fern Creek Traditional High School.
They was having an argument before dude let out a gun. We didn't know he had a gun on him.
Like, I just heard a big boom and like everybody started running. There was like somebody just got shot. Somebody got shot.
Like me and my friend, we were going up the stairs to go to the third floor, and then all of a sudden everybody just kept running. Like we just got ambushed by a whole bunch of people that were running, and we was like, "What's going on? What's going on?" He was like, everybody was like, "He got a gun. He got a gun."
And everybody was just running, and everybody was just going home. Everybody was like, "Go in your rooms, go in your rooms." Then they put us on lockdown.
The school went into a level 5 lockdown. The doors were locked. The students went for cover inside the building, and they stayed there until the clear was given for them to be able to evacuate and go to the Fern Creek Park.
The students left the school single file with their hands on their heads, an image that will remain in the minds of many forever, as their anxious parents started to arrive at nearby Fern Creek Park.
The worst is coming. It's
not being able to do anything.
Meanwhile, Louisville Metro Police canvassing the area, searching for the gunman. Finally, at 4:15, a little more than 3 hours after the shooting, word that the suspect was in police custody at an apartment complex very close to Fern Creek Park.
Our officers apprehended the suspect that was involved in the shooting. The school has been cleared and secured. Given the all clear, we ask parents to continue to be patient.
So that's the timeline of events, but for the parents trying to meet back up with their students, it felt like a lifetime. And as Dawn G explains tonight, that park near the school here at Fern Creek filled not only with students, but a lot of anxiety. However, very few answers.
When you hear there has been a shooting in your child's school,
This is where they told me to wait.
what you don't know can hurt you.
That's all the information I have. I'm sorry.
I'm just waiting patiently. I know they said that one 16-year-old boy is on his way to the hospital, and I'm just praying that it's not Marquise or Markel.
That pain was obvious as parents waited, watched, and prayed after hearing a student was shot at Fern Creek High School.
I got a granddaughter in high school, and supposedly it happened somewhere around her room, and she's still on lockdown, so I don't know what the situation with her is.
The information came from the school by text from panicked students.
She's very upset. She's scared to death.
And for some,
I didn't even get a text message on this. I work nights, I woke up, and this is on the news.
chaos as orderly as it can be.
And then we'll get everybody's kid to them as safely and as quickly as we can.
So you are in the right spot to be reunited with your student.
Until one by one, students were reunited with their families, with questions still unanswered and fears not quite laid to rest.
Was there an argument?
Yes, it was a money situation. Somebody owed somebody else and they didn't have it, so he pulled the gun out and started shooting.
I want to know how we can move forward from this, find out the lessons learned, what went wrong in the school to make this incident happen. And
a couple other things happening in Fern Creek Park. Parents of special needs children knew that their students would need some extra care to be moved. They were concerned about how they were handled. And Fern Creek Elementary, right next to the high school, those parents were wondering what's going to happen to our students. They were in the park. They would later learn school would let out on time, but the students would get home very late because buses were tied up, handling all the high school students as well. The condition of that victim here today, we're being told that that person has non-life-threatening injuries and is in stable condition at U of L Hospital. It's a 15-year-old male student from Fern Creek High School, expected at this point to make a full recovery. Superintendent Dr. Donna Hargens talked about the district's response and this school's response today.
Our staff is trained. They went on lockdown. We have a great relationship with LMPD who responded. So we handled a difficult situation, and our students did an amazing job of following the directives and doing what they were supposed to do.
And the Fern Creek principal, Nate Meyer, releasing a letter that the parents would get, saying that all students and teachers remained safely in their classrooms until the building was thoroughly searched and secured by law enforcement. We understand the great anxiety and fear that a situation like this can produce. We want you to know that teachers followed our safety plan procedures exactly as we have drilled, and students and teachers behaved admirably under the circumstances. And not long after this shooting here, the first response from JCPS came from Ben Jackie, a spokesperson for the school district.
This is senseless. This is unacceptable. This cannot happen in our schools. So we will be cooperating with the Louisville Metro Police Department in any way possible to make sure, A, that we find out who this is and bring them to justice, and B, provide anything that this victim may need.
And of course, this school shooting today happening here at Fern Creek Traditional High School. A lot of questions still remain as to what led to it. Some of the students told us, Shannon, that it was just a silly argument that led to the shooting at about 1 o'clock. Police, I'm sure, will be interrogating that suspect even more tomorrow. And of course, we'll have the latest.
Yeah, much more to learn. Scott, thanks. And today is not the first time Fern Creek has been placed on lockdown with a gun on campus. In February of 2008, a a female student reported seeing another male student motion to his hip like he had a gun. The school was placed on lockdown as a precaution. A student from Buchel Metropolitan School was later arrested. And then in 2010, a student was arrested for bringing a gun to school. It was not loaded, and there were not any bullets in the student's bag. In 2011, another scare on campus. School leaders were concerned a student had brought a gun to school. 2 students were taken into custody. Though this was the first shooting to happen on a JCPS campus, school shootings sadly are nothing new to Kentucky. The most notorious at Paducah's Heath High School in 1997, then 14-year-old Michael Carneal opened fire on a prayer circle, killing 3 people and injuring 5 others. In 1993, in Grayson, 17-year-old Gary Scott Pennington shot and killed his English teacher and a janitor at East Carter High School. Some schools in Bullitt County playing it safe and going into what's called a soft lockdown after hearing of the shooting today at Fern Creek. The district superintendent says it is standard safety procedure and student safety is their #1 priority. A similar scene played out at a Central North Carolina high school this morning. Police say a student was shot after an argument just before school began at Auburn-Marl High School there. This is just east of Charlotte. The victim is stable. After the shooting, the suspect waited for police in the school. You can find the latest on today's shooting at Fern Creek Traditional High School anytime on wave3.com and the Wave 3 News mobile app. As well, we'll have more for you on Wave 3 News Sunrise beginning tomorrow at 4:30. It's a big mystery tonight. A boy dies after being found seriously wounded in Louisville's Cherokee Park. As Wave 3 News reporter Connie Leonard tells us, police still have no idea who he is. Connie joins us now live, and they're still trying to identify him at this hour. Connie.
Yeah, Shannon, that's right. It's pretty bizarre, hard to believe. Police still here at this hour. The child had no identification on him. That part's not strange because most children don't carry ID. What is strange is some 6.5 hours later, no parent, no relative has called about a missing child. In one of Louisville's busiest and most popular parks, a scary sight. Police tape blocking off a huge wooded section off the scenic loop.
Well, I was pretty startled. Usually it's like a very safe place. I saw all the cop cars. I saw the tape. The tape's usually a good indicator that something serious has occurred.
Near Hogan's Fountain, detectives comb the woods with dogs looking for evidence after a passerby finds an injured white preteen boy, possibly as young as 11. No identity, no family around. Police say he suffered unexplained injury to his body. We're told wounds to his chest area. He died at the hospital.
Specifically, the nature of his injuries, we're unsure of at this point. We're going to have to await the autopsy. So right now, we're treating it as a death investigation.
Maureen LeMay says although the path where the boy was found is in a dense area of trees, it's used all the time.
I was just back there on Sunday, and then I rode my bike through it on Monday, yesterday afternoon, and it's beautiful back there. Like, it's so scary that something horrific has happened.
A young man was found dead up here in the woods. There's no reason for you all to think that there's any danger to any of the other park goers?
At this time, because we don't have an exact cause of death, we really can't say at this point until we know more specifically what caused his death.
And police saying, of course, it's always much safer to travel in pairs when you can. Police are hoping that somebody who's watching this newscast, their memory will be tripped and they'll remember something that will help identify this young boy. If you do remember something, they're asking you to call 911, or you can call their other police number, which is 574-2117. Another number they'd like you to call, 574-2117. Reporting live from Cherokee Park, Connie Leonard, Wave 3 News.
She says she was abducted and tossed into the trunk of this car. What police are saying about this bizarre disappearance. And UK coach John Calipari has a message for some very impatient Wildcat basketball fans.
Well, temperatures have been mild throughout the evening. We're headed to some cool readings by the weekend. Well, we could start out with some patchy fog tomorrow. We'll talk more about that and our rain chance for the weekend coming up.
And a reminder, you can always watch our newscast live on the Wave 3 News mobile app.
Honored with the Edward R. Murrow Award for Overall Excellence. You're watching Wave 3 News.
New tonight at 11, a man was found shot lying in the front yard of a home in Louisville's Chickasaw neighborhood. This happened just after 8 at 40th Street and Grand Avenue. The victim was taken to University Hospital. The LMPD homicide unit stayed at the scene to investigate. No word on the victim's condition tonight. We have new details on that breaking news we brought you yesterday. A woman missing for several days found inside the trunk of a car. Today, police provided us with an update. An hour before, witnesses heard the woman tapping on the trunk with a crowbar. Police got a call about the car.
The officer got there. The person who called it in was not there, so that officer was asking anybody walk by, did they hear anything or see anything. When he ran the tag at that point, the tag had not been entered into a system at that point as a part of a vehicle that was a missing vehicle.
The woman told police the man had a gun and forced her to drive around Kentucky and Indiana before she ended up in that trunk. Police say they're trying to put together her story. They're taking her seriously, and they say surveillance video shows her leaving a store in Newburgh with who they describe as a scraggly-looking man who may have had a weapon. It is the first case of Ebola diagnosed here in the U.S. A patient at a Dallas hospital testing positive for the disease earlier today. Officials say they are isolating that patient. The man had just returned from Liberia days ago. He was visiting family there. The CDC's director says there is zero risk the patient infected anyone on his flight, and he is confident it will not spread widely here. 12 others in the U.S. have been tested for Ebola since July 27th, but all results came back negative. Well, it was another warm day, but wait a few days, we could get a nice change. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harnett is joining us with this, and this is going to feel like a big difference.
Yeah, we're talking lows back in, well, maybe even the upper 30s for some, Shannon. It all happens by the time the weekend rolls around, so, you know, got a couple warm days on the way before then. 70 now in Louisville, that's the warmest around. Mid-50s from Seymour over to North Vernon, push your way to the south. Campbellsville, Litchfield in the upper 50s. Most areas wind up there overnight. Well, you can see a mainly clear sky. We're going to wind up with a little patchy fog again. We saw it this morning. I think we'll see it tomorrow morning. Temperatures in the 50s, but with some sunshine, we'll bump back into the mid-80s tomorrow in many locales. In fact, the commuter cast looks like this. For the morning commute, outside of a little bit of patchy fog, temperatures maybe a degree or two cooler, mid to upper 50s. And looking ahead to the afternoon, it's a green light. Temperatures top out right around 84 degrees. A decent day is on the way tomorrow with some sunshine. Clear skies outside in Louisville right now with that 70-degree reading. Winds are out of the north. Had a high and low today that were above average. In fact, the high temperature running 10 degrees above the normal. Here in Jefferson County, while we stand at 70 degrees at the International Airport, PRP, U of L, Bowmanfield, St. Matthews, Fisherville, all falling into the 60s already. Pointed out that we have clear skies across not only Jefferson County, but much of our viewing area. The cold front we're watching that will bring the cooler air and the next rain chance, which is so needed across Kentuckiana, stands to our west, and that's going to push eastbound over the next couple of days. Expected to arrive here with a chance for not only rain, maybe even a rumble of thunder. We're not looking for severe weather, but we are looking for some needed rain out of this. That looks to occur as we head into late Thursday and early Friday. Tomorrow, a dry day, but a warm one, and we'll be warm again Thursday on the warm side of this with that front lifting to our north. Note the time on Thursday, 7 a.m. Rain gathers to our west across Missouri and Illinois ahead of that front. Then that pushes through late Thursday into Friday, giving us that rain chance, followed by the cooler temperatures. 56, that's tonight's low. That's how we begin our Wednesday. Areas of fog. Tomorrow we can expect some sunshine. We'll warm it up to a high of 84 degrees. If you're a fan of the 80s, enjoy the next couple of days. And we're going to say bye-bye 80s for a while. In fact, the 70s arrive on Friday with that rain chance. 61, the coolest of the next 7 days. That's on Saturday. So much going on this weekend with a number of walks. Once again, that first weekend, October, is always big. The St. James Court Art Show. 67 on Sunday. Small chance of a sprinkle both early Saturday, really, and then again late Sunday. So not looking for a lot of rain over the weekend, but Friday we should have some rain around.
And that's the start of fall break for a lot lot of kids. So
yeah, lingers into early next week. Okay. So cool for that period.
It'll be nice. It'll feel good, won't it?
Yeah.
All right, let's check in now with Kendrick Haskins to see what's coming up with sports. Kendrick?
Shannon, not only is U of L's Gerard Holloman leading the nation in interceptions, the Cards as a team have the most picks of any team in the country. One of the most memorable of those INTs was not by a Holloman, it was by a lineman. We'll hear from him next. U of L safety Gerard Holloman leads the nation in interceptions with 6 already, but his teammate Sheldon Rankins may have the most memorable pick of the season. After Wake Forest had run numerous shovel passes on the Cards on Saturday, Rankins, a 300-pound defensive end, made his first career interception. The junior says he had visions of scoring when he first made the play, but those thoughts ended in a hurry.
As soon as it hit my hands, I was like, go score, but they jumped on me, and, and those dreams came to an end real fast.
Was there a moment of daylight where you saw the open field ahead of you and thought, I'm going?
Yes, there was. For about a split second, and then I started falling. All those hopes went out the window.
That was unexpected. Coach just basically told us on the sideline to get ready for the shovel pass, and Sheldon played it all the way through, and he pretty much just did what he's supposed to do, and he came out with a pick.
Coach Petrino joined sports director Kent Taylor on Sunday for Inside the Cards. The show is back in its normal time slot at noon on Sunday. We'll have highlights and his reaction from Friday night's game at Syracuse. And the Touchdown Friday Night Player of the Week poll will be up until noon tomorrow on the sports page of Wave3.com. Here are your 5 candidates this week. Go out there and vote. When we come back, John Calipari has a message for the less patient members of Big Blue Nation this coming basketball season. Well, this morning, sports director Kent Taylor sat down with UK head coach John Calipari and asked him about everything ranging from this year's squad to his interest in the NBA. We will bring that to you tomorrow. Yesterday, Cal was in town for the annual tip-off luncheon, and he told fans to expect a rough start to the season as his team figures things out. He also had a message for some of the more impatient fans in the Big Blue Nation.
Listen, some of you are going to jump off the bandwagon again early. And if you do, please, if you're the neighbor, call and say you did this last year, And he let you back in. He may not let you back in this year.
A couple of John Calipari's former players, Anthony Davis and Darius Miller, will be in town on Saturday night, along with former Card great Russ Smith, as the New Orleans Pelicans take on the Miami Heat in the first NBA exhibition at the KFC Yum Center. According to arena officials, everyone is excited about the return of Russ Dickulus.
It's pretty interesting and neat that you lose LeBron and you bring in Russ and a ticket still sell. Not to put any negativity toward Russ. It just shows the type of support that he has in Kentuckiana, and I think people like the fact that the kid played hard and didn't look back. So we're all excited about Russ coming back to Louisville.
Yeah, everybody's excited. Russ is one of my favorite players of all time just because the kind of guy he was, so it'll be exciting to see him come back to town.
And so many people are looking forward to that. The tickets to that event just went like that.
Yes, as fast as they're trying to have the biggest crowd ever for an NBA exhibition game, and it looks like they may be able to do it.
Well, this just tells us that we should do this more often, right?
Yeah.
We'll be right back. What a day this has been for so many people today. And we do want to remind you once again that Fern Creek Traditional High School is in session tomorrow. So a normal school day, or as normal as it can be for all of those students. We invite you to tune into Wave 3 News beginning at 4:30 for the latest on that, as well as this death investigation that is going on regarding a child found at Cherokee Park.
Some additional counselors there too, I'm sure.
Yes, at school. Thanks for joining us.
Now, with Wave3.com and the Wave 3 News mobile app, you always have breaking news and weather right where you are. Sponsored by Rally's Hamburgers.